Peter Cook joins us in Washington, where he knows they do not accept Bitcoin on K Street. I mean, Peter, finally
for
it's
the
to
moment,
Washington.
Tom, for the moment. I mean, I'm telling you, that's what this hearing is all about. Today and tomorrow is the legitimacy, the rising legitimacy of Bitcoin. These hearings are not necessarily about Bitcoin as a threat, although that will be discussed. This is also about Bitcoin arriving in Washington on the national stage and having policymakers take a look at it seriously. It's not just a hobby anymore. This is for folks who support Bitcoin. They see this as a real opportunity.
Well, within the hearings, is this an ultimate backgrounder for the politicians, or are they coming in with their staffs prepared with a political message about Bitcoin?
I think there's going to be the folks leading this hearing, and it's the Senate Homeland Security Committee, and the chairman, Tom Carper, the ranking Republican, Tom Coburn. Both are very familiar with this issue. They've gotten into the weeds on this, but they may be the exception to the rule here in Washington. Tom, they're members of Congress who still don't really know what the Internet's all about, so they certainly don't know what Bitcoin is. And this is going to be educational for them. This is an informational session both today and tomorrow. And again, the folks who support Bitcoin, the folks who want to make money off of Bitcoin, they see this as an opportunity, their first entree into Washington, a coming out party of sorts. But they're going to have to deal with some law enforcement officials who are going to raise some real concerns about the relative anonymity that Bitcoin and other virtual currencies offer to criminals, the fact that it's been abused. The Silk Road example is going to come up a lot over the next 2 days. But again, all things being equal, they see this more as an opportunity than as a threat.
Peter, any sense of what the General Counsel of Bitcoin will say today?
I do know that he's the general counsel of the Bitcoin Foundation. Patrick Merck is among those testifying. Again, the foundation's been formed to make the Bitcoin story in Washington and elsewhere, and he's going to make the case that, listen, there's so many opportunities here, so many upsides to Bitcoin, that Washington should be pleased, should be supporting the rise of Bitcoin, and that the issues raised by law enforcement, those can be addressed. There's no reason you can't, law enforcement can't track down the bad guys using Bitcoin just in the same way they do traditional currency.
Peter, the Chicago Fed came out on Bitcoin about a week and a half ago. What is the impact of that particular statement on today's hearings, perhaps?
Well, listen, the regulatory climate here is confusing, and that's one of the whole stories here, is that these hearings are going to help make the point that no one's entirely clear where Bitcoin falls in the regulatory scheme of things. There are about 8, 9 federal agencies that all touch Bitcoin in some sort of way, everything from Treasury to the Federal Election Commission. Yes, Tom, K Street's not taking Bitcoin, but the FEC is proposing to allow campaigns to get paid back in Bitcoin. That would be certainly precedent-setting. But it's not entirely clear because it's both commodity, it's not a traditional currency as the government defines it. So that's one of the question marks: who regulates this stuff?